Hey there, fellow pet lovers. Welcome back to our cozy corner of the internet, where we talk all about our furry best friends. Today, we're tackling a question every dog parent has wondered about. Why does my dog bark at other dogs? Sound familiar? If you've been dealing with a barking buddy, or you're simply curious to learn more about dog behavior, stay tuned. This video will give you a positively enlightening deep dive into the world of dog communication. Barking is one of the most distinctive sounds we associate with dogs. And while it might seem simple, barking actually has so much meaning behind it. It's a vital part of how dogs communicate with each other and with us. But the reason for each bark can vary widely, from excitement and playfulness to warnings or even anxiety. The nature of barking. To understand why dogs bark at other dogs, we need to start with the basics. What is barking, and why do dogs do it? In the wild, dogs' ancestors used vocalizations like howling to communicate over long distances with their pack members. When dogs were domesticated, they adapted these sounds to their new environment, and barking became a primary form of communication. Think of barking as a kind of language. Just as we raise or lower our voices and use different tones to express emotion, dogs use the pitch, frequency, and intensity of their barking to communicate different messages. Barking can convey happiness, anxiety, alertness, and much more. So, what's interesting is that barking is never random. There's always a reason behind it, even if we don't immediately understand what our dogs are trying to say. Types of barks, recognizing different messages. Now let's talk about the types of barking. When dogs bark, they're trying to express something specific. Recognizing the type of bark can give us clues about what our dogs need or how they're feeling. One type of bark is the alert bark. This is the bark you might hear when your dog notices something out of the ordinary. A person approaching the house, a squirrel in the yard, or yes, another dog walking down the street. Alert barking is instinctual. It's your dog's way of notifying you about something in their environment. Another type is the play bark, often accompanied by body language like tail wagging, a relaxed body, and a playful stance. Dogs use this bark when they're feeling social and ready for interaction. If your dog barks at another dog with this kind of energy, they're probably excited to meet them and want to engage in friendly play. Then we have the territorial bark. Dogs are territorial by nature, and they feel a need to protect their home and family. If your dog feels that another dog is entering what they see as their space, they may bark to assert their boundaries. This bark can sound more intense and may be lower pitched than a playful bark. There's also the attention-seeking bark. Some dogs bark because they want something, whether it's food, a walk, or simply attention. These barks are often shorter, and your dog may stop barking once they've gotten your attention. Understanding these basic types of barks can be very helpful in figuring out what's going through your dog's mind. Body language and barking. Reading the signs. While barking is an important part of a dog's communication, it's often just one part of a bigger picture. Dogs use their entire bodies to communicate, so when they bark, take note of their body language as well. This can give us a fuller understanding of what they're trying to convey. If your dog's tail is high and stiff, it might indicate alertness or even a bit of nervousness. On the other hand, a tail that's wagging gently and low means they're likely feeling relaxed and friendly. Ear position can also tell you a lot. Ears pulled back against the head often signal fear or submission, while forward-facing ears show curiosity or interest. For example, if your dog sees another dog, stands tall, with their ears forward and tail raised, they may be barking out of confidence or even protectiveness. Meanwhile, if their body is loose, their tail is wagging softly, and their bark sounds light and high-pitched, they may just want to say hello. Knowing these cues helps us recognize what each bark truly means. Why dogs bark at each other. Common triggers. Now that we understand some basics, let's discuss some common reasons why dogs bark specifically at other dogs. Barking at other dogs can happen for a variety of reasons, each tied to specific motivations, instincts, and emotions. One major reason is excitement. Dogs are social creatures by nature, and seeing another dog can feel a bit like spotting an old friend. Their instinct is to approach, interact, and play. This excitement often triggers high-pitched, repetitive barks, usually accompanied by an animated, wiggly body. These barks are a signal that your dog is feeling happy and wants to make a new friend. Another reason for barking is territoriality. Dogs have a strong sense of territory, and for some, even seeing another dog near their home or yard can trigger protective instincts. This type of barking is often loud and sharp, and the dog might seem more focused or intense, as if they're saying, "Stay back, this is my space." Sometimes, dogs bark at other dogs out of frustration or leash reactivity. Imagine that your dog is on a leash and they see another dog that they can't reach. This restriction can create frustration, causing them to bark more intensely. This type of barking can become a cycle, as the leash becomes associated with feeling restrained and unable to approach freely. And let's not forget fear or anxiety. If a dog has had negative experiences with other dogs in the past, they might bark as a way to ward off a potential threat. This bark often sounds different. It may be deeper, more drawn out, and accompanied by a tense body posture. Dogs bark like this because they're trying to protect themselves. Managing barking, tips and training techniques. Barking is normal, but there are ways to manage it, especially if it's excessive or disruptive. If your dog tends to bark out of excitement, try desensitizing them to the presence of other dogs. You can do this by keeping some distance from other dogs on walks and rewarding calm behavior. Over time, they'll learn that seeing another dog doesn't necessarily mean playtime. For territorial barking, it's helpful to give your dog boundaries. If they bark at other dogs from a window, consider blocking their view or teaching a command like quiet or enough to redirect their focus. Practicing these commands regularly can help your dog learn that they don't need to be on high alert all the time. For leash reactivity, practice rewarding your dog for calm behavior while on a leash. Start by exposing them to other dogs from a distance where they don't feel reactive, then gradually decrease the distance over time. This method, called counter-conditioning, can help them stay calm and relaxed even when other dogs are around. Remember, training takes patience. Reward-based techniques that encourage calm behavior will be far more effective in the long run than punishments or scolding. The goal is to help your dog feel secure, comfortable, and relaxed. Fun facts about barking. To wrap things up, let's dive into some fun facts. Did you know that smaller dogs like Chihuahuas tend to bark more frequently than larger breeds? Researchers think this might be a survival strategy, as smaller dogs use barking to compensate for their size by sounding more intimidating. Interestingly, studies have also shown that dogs recognize each other by their barks. They can distinguish between the barks of familiar dogs and strangers, just as we might recognize a friend's voice. And here's another cool fact. Some dogs can even be trained to whisper bark, a quieter version of barking, often used in hunting or service dog training. Dogs are full of surprises, and even something as simple as barking has layers of complexity and meaning. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking the time to learn about why dogs bark at each other. Barking can be a beautiful way for dogs to express themselves, but understanding the reasons behind it can make it easier to respond calmly and help them feel understood. Whether your dog is a quiet type or a regular chatterbox, every bark has a purpose. Keep discovering, keep learning, and most of all, keep building that amazing bond with your furry friend. Until next time, keep those tails wagging and those paws happy.